Carolina may not have done it in a pretty manner, but they did win in Oakland. The Lions coming off the same thing as they have every week this season, a loss. Jason Horowitz, CBS Sports' Charley Casserly, glad to be with you on the NFL previews presented by Comcast. And Charlie, we'll get to Detroit in a sec. Carolina, Jake Delhomme, just the second quarterback since the merger to complete fewer than 30% of his passes, throw 4 interceptions in a game, and still win the football game. That's what they did in Oakland. What does that say to you about the other side of the football for Carolina right now?
Defense is playing really good. Julius Peppers having an outstanding season. Defensive end Charles Johnson, third-round pick 2 years ago, is starting to emerge. John Beeson in the middle, Thomas Davis, linebacker from Georgia, all playing really good up front. So their defense bailed them out. But you know what? You have weeks where the defense has to bail you out. That's why having a good defense is the best way to win.
Playing Detroit righted the ship offensively for Jacksonville last week. Are we going to see some big offensive numbers? Carolina going to take it out on the Lions' defense this week?
Well, I certainly think they have the possibility because with Steve Smith, they have the outstanding speed at wide receiver there. D'Angelo Williams is having a career year running the football, and Jake Delhomme is having a good, solid season from his end. So, and the thing about Detroit is they don't have enough pressure to stop you up front. They're not big enough to stop the run, and they don't cover well enough to stop the pass. So, could be a reason why they haven't won a game. But Carolina is going to right the ship offensively.
So when you talk about Carolina, they're 7-2 heading into Week 11, second best record in the NFC, behind only the Giants, who are 8-1. Grand scheme in the NFC, where do you put Carolina among the best teams in the NFC?
Well, I've got to put them behind the Giants, but then you got to start the discussion with them and everybody else. They beat Arizona at home in a close game, but they did beat them. I don't think there's anybody in the Central there that's emerged. Obviously, they're all about pretty much grouped together there. The top 3 teams: Chicago, Minnesota, and Green Bay. And then over in the East, what you have is the Giants, which we all agree clearly they're the best team in the NFC. But then everybody else after that, I think it would be a close game with them in Carolina. Flip the coin. Dallas has had injuries. Philadelphia can't win close games. Washington is now struggling with some injuries on their part. So I think Carolina fits in there with the rest of the NFC East teams, and right now you put them a little bit ahead.
And they're a game ahead of Tampa Bay and Atlanta in their own division. As for Detroit, Charlie, Dante Culpepper, he's going to get the start again. I think you expect to see Drew Stanton play some again like we did last week. What is the best situation for Detroit right now to find out what they need to do for next year, especially at the quarterback position?
Well, you got to find out what you have in these two players. Clearly, they feel Drew Stanton is not ready to play, even though his numbers are superior there to Dante Culpepper. Now, in fairness, Dante Culpepper, he's got 1 week to practice and go play. I don't know what kind of shape he's in. Start there. And he certainly doesn't know the offense after 1 week. But you've got to find out if you have anything to build on here. I don't think you can say either one of these quarterbacks are a long-term solution, but do we have a stopgap if we're writing off John Kitna as a Detroit Lion? John Kitna is better than either one of these two quarterbacks right now, but he's got a back injury. He's on injured reserve.
And a lot of the Lions players have said John Kitna was ready to go 4 weeks ago, and he was put on injured reserve at the end of September. I think that shows what the Lions are thinking about moving forward.
Sure,
with John Kitna.
Absolutely.
So we'll see about that. But they've got a lot of issues you would expect for an 0-9 team. We'll see where they go from here. Let's take a look at the AccuScore prediction. And as you'd expect with this one, 10,000 tests, 10,000 results, you'd expect Carolina to be the favorite, and then they are 88% of the time. But I like what Charlie said. Where did the computer get 12% for the Lions?
That's right. We got some diehards there now. Okay. Anyway, here's what happens. When you haven't won a game, and then all of us, fans included, look at the schedule and say, hey, Detroit can't win a game this year. There is not one team they're going to be favored in. But guess what? Only one team has gone through a season here, modern times, without winning a game. What happens in those games that they win? The other team ends up losing the game with turnovers. But here's Detroit's problem. It goes down to this, the quarterback position. Yeah. How much can Dante Culpepper improve week to week to give him a chance to win? That's an unknown right now. Until he gets to being a positive influence in that team as far as his play goes, Detroit's not going to win.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. We'll see, and especially this weekend with Carolina coming off a performance in which they played so poorly offensively. This could be an ugly game like last week was for the Lions. It's a 1 p.m. Eastern start. For more on this one or any other here in Week 11, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com. Watch everything else on the CBS Audience Network. For Charley Casserly, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.